12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
That gave us a magnificent ride. I'd like to trace through a little bit for you. Back on this flight, we've carried along pieces of bread. Along with the bread, we have a ham spread.
Retro. Go. Fido. Go. Guys. Go. Patrol. Go. Telcom. Go. GNC. Go. Ecom. Go. Surgeon. Go. Capcom, we're go for landing.
Eagle Houston, you're go for landing, over. Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000 feet. 1201. Roger, 1201 alarm.
1201 alarm.
Same time, we're go, Mike. We're go. Same time, we're go. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Big shadow. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Now I want to back up and partially close the hatch. Making sure not to lock it on my way out. That's our home for the next couple hours. We want to take good care of it. Beautiful view. Magnificent desolation.
Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one.
Tranquility Base, Houston, you're cleared for takeoff. Roger, understand. We're number one on the runway. We've come to the conclusion that this has been far more than 3 men on a voyage to the moon. More still than the efforts of a government and industry team. More even than the efforts of one nation. We feel that this stands as a symbol of the insatiable curiosity of all mankind to explore the unknown.
Buon pomeriggio, ci siamo, è arrivato direi uno dei momenti più attesi di questa edizione del One Next Fest. Io mi ero preparato una lunghissima introduzione, ma capisco bene che non sono io ovviamente l'attrazione, ma ce n'è un'altra molto più importante. A me fa solamente piacere dire questo, che sul palco del One Next Fest parliamo sempre di innovazione e di futuro. In questo momento continueremo a parlare di innovazione e di futuro e capirete perché, però con un personaggio che ha fatto la storia dell'essere umano e della Terra. So it's a pleasure and an honor for me and for Wired Italia to introduce you on the Wired Next Fest stage, Mr. Buzz Aldrin. Oh, yeah. Mr. Aldrin, cosa prova a rivedere e cosa ricorda di quella missione Apollo 11 del 1969?
Well, I've seen that video many, many times, but it is always good to remind a person with hearing and seeing. So it does bring me back to think about those days and many others since then, other people who laid the groundwork for us to be there.
E quando avete compiuto quella impresa storica per appunto la storia di tutti noi, voi eravate consapevoli che avreste fatto la storia camminando per primi sulla Luna?
Yes. Of course, Neil and I recognize the major significance, and I was happy to be selected to be with a very expert test pilot and to bring along Mike Collins, who was going to be on an earlier flight. He was also a graduate of West Point. So Neil Armstrong and I were on the backup crew for Apollo 8, the mission that was first to orbit around the moon, and we worked very closely together. And the rotation was that if you were back up on 8, there would be a crew for 9 and 10, so then that you would become primary crew on 11.
Mr. Aldrin, tornando a quei momenti in cui stava scendendo sulla superficie lunare, potendo tornare indietro, farebbe qualcosa di diverso o farebbe tutto esattamente allo stesso modo?
You can always make little things better. The teamwork was interrupted by who will go out first. That should not have interrupted our training. And then, what will he say when he goes out? Because it left open once the correct person, the leader, the symbolic correct person was on the moon and then it should have been my task to oversee, because of so many work tasks that were given to the commander, and this was always the reason before that the spacewalking was done not by the commander, but by the other person, just one. But now we were two, so it's different.
Quando venne progettata la missione per andare prima volta sulla Luna, quindi l'Apollo 11, tutto nacque qualche anno prima, cioè nel 1961, quando Gagarin, l'astronauta sovietico, fece il primo giro orbitale nello spazio. Kennedy in quell'occasione disse: noi entro 10 anni andremo sulla Luna. Ed era, diciamo, una sfida che lui lanciò ovviamente all'Unione Sovietica. Lei pensa che nei prossimi anni, come è avvenuto nel recente passato, per esempio con la Stazione Spaziale Internazionale, lo spazio possa essere un luogo di collaborazione anche tra potenze che allora non lo erano, penso all'India, penso alla Cina, penso al Giappone, o un luogo quindi di collaborazione o un luogo di scontro?
When President Kennedy said a man should go to the moon, a man, and come back, no woman, not two people, But he did say, come back. We didn't have a plan. We were catching up in technology. We did not really think it was a race. A race is not productive because it's a lot of waste. Who's going to win? It's better to have the plan compete. Compete, select the best plan, then join together and do it. And we did not have a plan until it was decided to do lunar orbit rendezvous. Not von Braun's plan, but an engineer. Lunar orbit rendezvous with a NASA center. I'm working with that center now to make lunar reusable rendezvous and Mars reusable rendezvous, and we would just as soon select a more up-to-date, more capable, more economical big rocket, because the government should not be taking a design that was from the shuttle and then using that design for a rocket that competes with SpaceX. Elon Musk competes with Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos, and competes with Boeing and Lockheed, monopoly. But they're commercial companies, and they should compete just like the new people. The government should not compete. The government should advise. But we had to be operational with government to go to the moon. But now we should advise. And the rocket company, or the rocket center, should not compete. But the rocket center should advise spacecraft propulsion in orbit, landers, refueling tankers, depots, power supplies, nuclear, all the things that make it work. But advise for headquarters to decide what is, and the president to decide what is the objective. And of course, Buzz will tell them how to do it.
Mr. Aldrin, nel 2019 saranno passati 50 anni da quando ho messo piede sulla Luna. Ma è dal 1972 che effettivamente nessun essere umano ci è andato. Ha senso tornare per noi sulla Luna? Oppure, come diceva e come direi dice anche la maglietta che ha al suo fianco, è meglio andare verso Marte e basta?
The American people would not be strong supporters and taxpayers of America having a big program to go back to the moon. But I think they would support America designing for approval of a group of nations, Earth, Moon, Mars coalition. Europe and Russia have an agreement to work together at the moon. And we work closely with ESA, European Space Agency, and we work closely with Japan. ESA and Russia are sort of same continent. Japan and China are sort of the same continent. And we want to work and bring the partners together and help them to go to the moon much, much easier than we did. No big Saturn V is needed. No big space launch system. No Orion. Just commercial crew and cargo, but more than low Earth orbit to moon orbit. We will jointly have reusable landers to take the cargo down to the surface and come back and get more, to take the crew down and back for more. I can expand that later because we really need that fuel on the moon, and we don't quite have it yet. It's easier to get ice on Mars than it is to get super, super cool crystals in very, very dark places on the moon.
Mr. Aldrin, nel corso della sua vita da astronauta, esplorato lo spazio, tra l'altro detiene tantissimi record, tra cui uno curioso, molto legato ai nostri tempi, è la prima persona che si è fatto un selfie nello spazio, perché tantissimi anni fa si fece appunto una fotografia da solo nello spazio. Ma lei crede che esistano forme extraterrestri di vita?
In some ways, I'm sorry I did that because now everyone wants to take a selfie of me. But listen carefully. A real selfie, the camera has to be attached to a very expensive spacecraft and it has to be in orbit. And that is the most important selfie stick you will ever find. Right.
Crede che esistano forme di vita extraterrestri?
Where? Somewhere.
I don't know.
Yes. We're there, somewhere, here. And it's big, 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 long ways away. And the conditions here are not that special. A star, a habitability zone. We're now discovering many. Before we had discovered any, I wrote a story about living beings on the closest star system, Alpha Centauri. But it was extremely realistic. And it's a book called Encounter with Tiber. Tiber, a moon around Juno. Another star, Alpha Centauri B, another big planet, Minerva. Italian names. Because an Italian astronomer wanted to take credit for naming. He didn't want this old, stodgy International Astronomical Union to get some boring name. Right? You know, 32956. That's boring. Okay, now, me, who wrote the book about Tiber, the president of the IAU happens to be an Italian astronomer. And me, I'm now going to ask him the head of the IAU, to name Proxima Centauri B Tiber. Tiber's the river going through Rome. Now, all you Italians should want that star or that planet named that. It would fit in because it can be realistic, explained, and help people understand life or not life in planets that are close to us. And I hope to have a very exciting television series of that same name. No.
Dopo,
I need a producer.
nonostante ci siano tantissime prove e noi almeno non abbiamo alcun dubbio sul fatto che siamo effettivamente andati sulla Luna e lei ha camminato sul suolo lunare, ci sono ancora persone che lo dubitano. Perché secondo lei c'è ancora questa fissazione, anche se le prove sono schiaccianti?
I think the best proof is when we came back, we described what we did. And now, Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter is taking pictures of our spacecraft that we left on the moon. And you can see where the experiments are. You can see the crater behind us that we had to fly over. And you can see the changes in the color that are because when you put your foot down, it's not just a very distinct boot print, but it scatters and changes the color to be much darker. And you look at those pictures and you can see where I was getting back up. Neil walked back to that crater and came back slightly different route. And we talked about that. Now, how the hell could somebody have gone up there, some alien, and done all that to just happen to agree? There's no way. These people are looking for attention. And they all are. Fake news.
Yes. Credo che la prova più grande sia sentire le sue parole, Mr. Aldrin. Se uno sente le sue parole capisce che lei può essere andato tranquillamente sulla Luna. In molti sostengono che l'astronauta che andrà su Marte è già nato. Che cosa gli direbbe, che cosa gli insegnerebbe per affrontare questa missione?
I'd like to talk to them, maybe 40, 50 people, and I'd like to explain to them what could be in store for them and how maybe they should work together, and the nations that would wish to go to the moon will get together and form a team that will then also go to Mars. And if we do that rapidly, the people born in 2000 maybe will be 40 years old when they get to Mars. And we don't want them to be older than that, but we would like them to be mature enough at age 30 to make a decision in their lives that will be unquestionably the most important decision that any human being on Earth could make, and that is to leave the Earth and become a pilgrim, historic pilgrim, the first on another planet. And we don't want to disappoint those people. And they can join NASA when they're about 25. In a couple of years, 6 years, well, 8 years. And we can send them to the moon, and they can, from moon orbit in a lunar cycler, assemble habitats on the moon and refuel landers on the moon. And go down and spend life with international people in a small cramp. And then when they come back, they will understand what they will be asked to do. They will really understand. And then we will train them to go to Mars. And think of the world leader who will make a commitment to humanity, not just to visit Mars for a year and a half and then come back, or to visit Mars and stay until, I mean, that's a visit. To go to Mars and stay until the next group comes, and they'll stay till the next group. So somebody will always be there. That's occupy Mars. But they could all come back. 5 years, 7, 8 years, 10, 11 years, 12 years. I don't like any of those, really. But we're not ready to make that commitment. But our president can make a commitment as we build up the enthusiasm and think back of Apollo 1. 1 week after our president took office, we celebrated the tragedy. We memorialized the tragedy of my very close friend Ed White and the rest of the crew. And now we'd like to, in memory of that resilience, make that date, July 20th, a national holiday, a space exploration day. And then October of 2018, the 50th anniversary of Apollo 7, the next flight to have a 50th. Then October, December, March, May, July. All those flights, all those wonderful people given the great gift of being able to go to the moon. And we lead up to, I believe that this nation should commit itself in 2 decades for America to lead a coalition of nations, Europe, Russia, Japan, China, India, South Korea, United Arab Emirates, to occupy Mars. And then by 2024, to land and settle. Not Apollo. Peak spending, 1967, 4% of discretionary fund came down. 1967, 2.5 years later, 2 guys, 1 day. 3 months after that, 2 guys, 1 day. The funding is now 0.5%. We had to fix a problem, and they didn't land. But when we did land, it was 5-6 months later. 2 guys, 1 day. Oh, we moved that up to 2 guys in a day and a half, then 2 guys in 2 days, and finally, 2.5 years later, from first landing on the moon, we ended the program, 2 guys for 3 days, and nobody has been back since. Those were visits with a long time in between, flags and footprints. We don't want to do that. We want to go and stay. At the moon, we left on a free return trajectory. There is no free return trajectory to Mars. If you thrust toward Mars, you will reach escape velocity. That's not going to get you to Mars. You have to thrust more to get Mars velocity. If you have an engine failure between escape and Mars, you're not going to get to Mars and you're not coming back to Earth. That's the plan right now from NASA and everybody else. Not my plan. They will change theirs.
Sono passati oltre 50 anni dalla sua prima missione a Gemini 12. Da allora lei sta continuando a viaggiare, a incontrare il pubblico come quello del Wired Next Fest. L'ultima volta è stato in Antartide, per esempio. Cos'è che la spinge a continuare ad esplorare?
I'm doing what I want to do, what I know how to do, and I took an oath to serve my country when I was 17. And I have done that ever since. It is very satisfying. It drives me. I don't play golf. I'm not very good. I like to scuba dive in the ocean. And that made me a spacewalker because I was first to do neutral buoyancy. But they canceled the maneuvering unit, so I couldn't be like George Clooney and fly around with Sandra Bullock. George knows that. I can just imagine the excitement that will go through the minds of people as they see opportunities for them, their brothers, their sisters, their sons, daughters, to make this, not sacrifice, make this honorable contribution to their nation, to the world, to humanity, to history. I'm worried that they may change their mind. You see, I suffered from depression. My grandfather committed suicide. My mother did before I went to the moon. And I didn't get my way all the time. So I started drinking. You can't fix things if you're drunk or an alcoholic. I haven't had a drink in 38 years. And that's all right. I don't need it. We have great opportunities, and we can enjoy this lovely world. And I try and do all I can, but I can make this world a little bit better with your help, the president's help, and other people's help who object because of their greedy reasons. They're selfish. They're short-term. Our president calls it the swamp in Washington. The aerospace industry, mergers, acquisitions, monopolies, lobbyists Congress, seniority, oversight, money. It has paralyzed us since Apollo. We must fix that. We must explore or expire. That's not my word.
Io ringrazio Mr. Aldrin per essere venuto al Wired Next Fest. Tra l'altro per lui è la prima volta. È la prima. The jacket. Yeah. Ok. È la sua prima volta a Milano e quando ce l'ha detto, insomma, ci ha fatto un po' impressione sapere che era andato prima sulla Luna che a Milano. Per noi è stato veramente un piacere e, ripeto, un onore ospitare Mr. Aldrin. Negli occhi di tutti voi ho capito che abbiamo fatto bene a portarlo. Grazie ancora, Buzz. Un'ultima cosa.
I went to the North Pole. I went to the Titanic, an ocean. I went to the South Pole. I'll go wherever I need to go. No mountains I don't climb.